Galen Village. Tranquil, quiet, a nice place to live. But something has gone wrong.
Look at the bruises on the kid's neck. One hell of a large hand. His spine was crushed like a piece of balsa wood.
When the sun goes down, something stalks the streets of Galen Village.
Joe wants to call the Attorney General. Have him send in some help. What do you think I should do?
Take whatever help you can get.
30 years ago in Galen, these same types of murders occurred.
I think my past has something to do with these murders.
No, Jim, listen.
Something silent. Something lethal. Something or someone is killing the people of Galen.
I think I'm going crazy.
Every time he has this dream, somebody dies.
You're talking about actual materialization.
What kind of a quack are you? The boy's in the clear.
He's not in the clear. Every time this kid has a dream, somebody in this town dies.
It is real. It is alive. It is among us. The incubus. Before your funeral, and your coffin lid is closed, before you are buried, and your flesh turns cold, before you are covered with the last shovelful of dirt, be sure you are really dead. Mortuary.
You guys ever play with girls or just yourselves?
I bet a lot of people around here like to know you're into little girls.
Looked like the work of some kind of psychotic. That's Melissa. She was the last person to see Johnny alive.
Hurry up! I'm not swimming alone. God damn it! Open the door!
Hey, I'll leave when I'm ready, old man. You better call Billy and tell him about his brother.
I suppose this is about last night.
You know about last night? Don't you want to hear the details about how that poor old man was twitching from his ceiling because you decided you wanted a little attention?
I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, my God. You know, drop pills, you drink or smoke dope or anything?
Well, I do a little of everything.
Everything, ooh. Maybe we should get together sometime.
Something evil is here. Sweet 16. Rated R, 17, not admitted without parent. A certain kind of girl joins Pi Theta sorority. A girl who likes to party and likes to get close to her friends. A girl whose extracurricular activities were more daring than most. A girl who could turn her fantasies into reality.
One more sling won't set us back, any?
Then again, Pi Theta was different from other sororities.
I'll get back at you the last thing I do!
Because in this sorority, nothing is off limits, as long as it's fun for the girls. So when it came time to say goodbye, they decided to make real sure that no one would ever forget the girls in the house on Sorority Row.
All right, with that, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? We're on a little bit of a roll here. This is officially part of our summer slashback series. I am, of course, Chris C., also known as Black Glove Reviews, also known as the Slasher Dude, also known as the Slasher Nerd. I'm joined, as always, by my cohort in crime over there, Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective. This is All the Colors of, I believe, episode 3. So we're talking about killers and motorcycles and that sexy leather. Darren, how we doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just been digging these films. Gone back to these as well. I have not seen these for like the longest time I can remember. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Should be a really fun show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same thing with me. It's always good coming back to these. These are all kind of pretty much bangers that we're talking about. Of course, all the colors of in this series. We talk about mostly slashers and gialli, which are all basically the grandfathers of these films. We get giallis during the 70s, then we get slashers during the 80s, and they all kind of link up in a way. And we discuss those films, what makes them all like. We're doing three this one. So we're talking about, first off, from 1974, very good one in my opinion, What Have They Done to Your Daughters? We're talking about 1975's Strip Nude for Your Killer with the very beautiful Edwidge Fenech. I believe that's how you kind of say her name. And then, of course, we're talking about a Night School with a very beautiful and talented Rachel Ward in her debut, really. So we're going to talk about all these good ones right here. These two right here were available in, I don't know if this is still available, but in this set, the Forgotten Gialli, or not Forgotten Gialli, Gialli Essentials, that Arrow started releasing these because they've released these films in the past. And they made these pretty cool box sets. This at one time was my favorite of those box sets. Actually, the yellow and black one is my favorite. I think Darren can agree with that one. But of course, this one comes with What Have You Done to Your Daughter's Torso and Strip Nude for Your Killer. And we all, Darren and I kind of love Torso like that. So, but it's a good release.
One of my favorite slasher. Well, it's a slasher film in it as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely... You would probably say 2 of these are as well. At least 2 of these, maybe all 3. But
yeah 3 at least. And so, we're going to talk about these 3 tonight. So, Darren, your overall thoughts on these films?
Right. So we picked these 3 films out. We could have added like Nightmare Beach.
Yeah, we could have. I was thinking about that too. That'll be for a future slasher stream.
Yeah. Like I'm not a huge fan of Lindsay's Nightmare Beach. I mean, it's okay for what it is. So I'm glad
he really distanced himself from that anyway. He was just there just to be there. Unfortunately, he was towards the end of his, you can say, director lifespan. Fortunately, that's just how it kind of goes with that. But
that was at a point where he didn't give a shit about what he was producing or anyway. And it shows. I think a lot of people love that film, but I mean, I'm a big fan of Hitcher in the Dark.
Me too. I'm a big fan of Hitcher in the Dark. I like that one a bit. It's a slow burn though.
Oh yeah, but getting back onto these 3. So you've got What Have You Done to Your Daughters, which is part 2, and obviously the Schoolgirl in Peril trilogy. I can't wait to talk about this one. It's gone way up in my estimation as well. Strip Nude for Your Killer. I've always been a massive fan of that film. I know it's just sleaze and what have you, but we'll come on to that. But literally one of my favorite kind of sleazy movies. And to top it off with Night School, which I think is probably one of the most underrated slasher films of the early 80s.
It's gotten definitely a cult following over the years for fans of the genre that we love so much, you and I specifically. I remember when I discovered the, Warner Archive release, I just wait for those sales on Amazon and it just happened to be there. And then, her beautiful self pops up here, Rachel Ward. And we have a good cast of characters in here. Some you may have to reintroduce me to, Darren, these actors and stuff. I do know who they are. They look very familiar, but
there was a lot of they were a lot of like theater Boston actors. So
that's what's done.
They're not really that well known.
Some stuff was actually done in New York, which is interesting. We'll get to that, but to your point,
I've got a theory on that as well. Why that film didn't do as well as it should have. So we'll have a good chat about that one as well.
Yeah, definitely. Done by a good director. These are all done by by good directors, specifically of What Have You Done to Your Daughters. So like Darren mentioned, What Have You Done to Your Daughters, done by the very late, great Massimo Dallamano. This was part of his Schoolgirls in Peril trilogy of films. The first one is, of course, What Have You Done to Solange, with the very beautiful Camille Keaton, Fabio Testi.
Yeah.
Good, very, very good giallo. Darren knows my thoughts with this one. You mix giallo with Policio Testi. Eurocrime police procedural is done very well in this. It shows this director was very good. I'm going to let Darren talk about this director here in a second, but he was very good. And this was done, of course, during the years of lead. You know, really, that's what it was. Italy was not in a good place at the moment. Protests, everything. And he captured this very good. And each one of these has a saying and a meaning, really, at the end. You know, has sayings at the starts and there's meanings at the end, you know, and he was very good at that. All the films I've seen from him are bangers, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Like Dallamano, for me, if, because I think a lot of people will know that he ended up in like a mysterious car accident. Some people trace it down to him basically revealing the elite, you know, in these Schoolgirl in Peril films. As a director, he only made 11 films in total, which is kind of just mind-boggling to me, because I think the guy would have gone on and been another like Argento.
Yeah, he was up there with all of these directors, yeah. Because he worked under what, Pasolini? He worked under these legendary directors.
Big names, some big names. He was well known, like he was a cinematographer as well.
You can see that in these films. You can see that. It kind of separates these directors from the pack. You know if it's Argento, you know if it's Fulci, you know if it's Lenzi, you know if it's this guy.
Oh, yeah. So just talking about some of the films that he's done, he did a giallo called A Black Veil for Lisa in 1968. Me and Dirk have previously covered it on the channel not too long ago.
His last name is Mills, and yeah, like say these
John Mills, plays the lead in that. I like it. I didn't love it. He did his own version of Venus in Furs, which is like this sexploitation. It's decent. You know, I wouldn't say it's something I want to put on every kind of year or anything. His masterpiece, obviously, what you've just mentioned. What Have You Done to Solange? I think it's hard to beat that. You know,
it's top tier giallo, really.
If and that was made really by
his best, you can say true only giallo. If you think about it, pure giallo, like
it
from
is,
start to finish. Yeah,
because Black Veil's got different elements to it.
Yeah, like Eurocrime to that police procedures.
Exactly, this has got the big Eurocrime. But if you talk about, his Eurocrime films, actually, Cult 38 Special Squad. Very good. I know Chris is a
Muy bueno. I flippin' love that film. The car chases are great. Ivan Rassimov is in that film. One of his best roles, in my opinion. It starts out fast and it ends fast. It's a brutal film. It's great though. I love it a lot.
Yeah, he did a lesser known one, or like a lesser quality one, called Super Bitch with Stephanie Powers. I was like not fussed on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, and Ivan Rassimov. I always called Rassimov like the Clint Eastwood of Italian films. He had that look to him that reminded me of Eastwood. His facial features. It's crazy. Of course, he's done Cult Leaders and all that other stuff too with a cannibal film you've all talked about.
If you want a lesser known Dallamano film that not many people have seen, which is a banger in my opinion, then check out The Night Child.
Yes, a possession one. Yeah, the possession story. Yeah,
got the little girl from Deep Red in it.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's like no one ever mentions that film, and it's fucking good. It's a good part of his filmography, in my opinion. Yeah.
But real quick, just info on this film, then I'll let Darren take over here. So like I say, what have they done to your daughters? Let's see if I can say this right. La Policia Chiede Aiuto, 1974, directed by, of course, Massimo Dallamano. The score is done by Stelvio Cipriani. Very good. There's like a jingle with the children and stuff like that too. So it stars Giovanna Raleigh as Assistant DA Vittoria. Of course, we have the very late, great Claudio Casanelli. We're going to dive deep into his film career, too, and the tragic circumstances of his death. You have Mario Adorf as Inspector Valentini, very good actor, too, in here. Then you have Corrado Gaiapi as the DA. I believe I said that right. Like the main dude with the glasses that they all talk to. Darren, talk a little bit about him in a minute. This release date was originally March 18th, 1977. Filming location in Lombardia, Italy. Of course, they show great locations for this film. All right, Darren, go ahead. What else do you have on this banger?
Yeah, so this one, it was shot by... Actually, it wasn't shot by the director. Cinematographer was Franco Delicoli. And it's more of a kind of grimier feel to this one than to What Have You Done to Solange. I think Salvio Cipriani's score is as good as anything I've heard in the giallo genre. It is just one of the highlights, one of the standouts of the film.
Yeah.
Got, I know you just mentioned Claudio Casanelli. He would have go on to appear in Martino's The Suspicious Death of a Minor.
Which you can match up with this one pretty good here. It's the same type of plot idea, specifically with the ending with that too. That's kind of an underrated Sergio Martino film. He never really missed with his gialli, in my opinion. Maybe some later ones that I have not seen. I know you, Dirk, are talking about those.
Scorpion with Two Tails, which is awful, but yeah. I mean, so you think about Claudio Casanelli, and you've got he worked with Fulci for Murder Rock. He sadly died in a helicopter crash while he was on the set of Hands of Steel in 1985 with Sergio Martino film. And he was only 46 years of age. And the little anecdote, I know it's been mentioned a few times, is John Saxon was due to be in that scene. So, but
that's right.
Yeah. So we would have lost him at an early age as well. In terms of cast, man, so you got Giovanni Raleigh, and she was in Enzo G. Castellari's Cold Eyes of Fear, which is another great giallo film.
Yeah, that's right. She was. That's right. Cold Eyes of Fear. That is a very good one. That's more Eurocrime too, as well. But yeah,
it is. It's almost like a home invasion. You've got Mario Adorf, recently passed away. Short Night of Glass Dolls, I think, and The Bird with Crystal Plumage is his two standout appearances.
Yeah.
A couple of actors I want to mention as well, bit part actors in here. You've got Franco Frabici, and he plays this sleazeball. And what it is with this character is he's the peeping Tom in Night Train Murders as well, because he plays kind of a peeping Tom in this too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does when they catch him and stuff like that. We'll get to that too when we explain the film.
Yeah. And he kind of was reunited in this film with Marina Berti, who plays the mother character. She plays the mother in Night Train Murders as well.
That's right.
So yeah. Just an outstanding cast, to be honest. I think this holds up over time. I think this is, for me, it's gotten better. I really do. It's past Rings of Fear for me now. It's officially my second, best of the trilogy.
Yeah, just my thoughts on it. I do like it a little more than Solange. I kind of separate the two. Solange is like straight up gialli to me. This one, he puts other elements in there, which we'll get to. You have the policia procedural. Basically, it starts out basically with the death of this minor. It starts out the school's getting out and stuff like that. This is obviously Catholic school. You see the nuns, and they introduce you to kind of these main girl characters straight up, and then they all start to separate, and it just goes to this crime scene where they all come in here, and obviously it's a shot from an actual person, but of course it's a mannequin's head. There is a goof in here when they're looking at the pictures and the slides and stuff like that, and she's faced differently from the window that they got from that person taking those pictures that we'll get to and stuff like that too.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Well, just like Little Ghost, you kind of don't. It's like they're basically watching them kind of basically make love, and then it just goes right to that slide of her just hanged and dead, which, spoiler a bit, you find out that she was pregnant later. Basically it plays, basically, the Inspector Valentini, that actor, he's very good with that. You can see kind of the sorrow that he has because his character has a daughter that age, and basically you find out that she was pregnant, and that which makes it even worse. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, so the opening to this, you've got like you say, you see all these girls, they're leaving school, don't know whether they're going on holiday or just finishing school for the time, a time period. That theme music I just mentioned with Cipriani is just absolutely outstanding. There is a quote at the start of the film. It basically mentions cruel things, these inexplicable things start to happen, and
happens every day and stuff like that. It's like almost the opening to Cobra with Sylvester Stallone works out the same way. There's this so many few seconds, this a very few seconds, and
this is the story of kind of innocence in a way, and how people at the top corrupt the younger. We'll come into all that.
And it's the typical of like, you want to trust your kids, but then it's like, sure, they're going to Catholic school and all this other stuff too. And that's the big part of it too, since this is Italy and it is Catholicism and stuff like that too. It's these girls like do this stuff too, specifically with the character that ends up being hanged and stuff like that, which makes it even more, I guess you can say, insidious, of what's kind of going on behind the scenes with that.
Oh, yeah. So you've got the police, right? They act on this anonymous phone call, and it's tipping them off that someone has hanged themselves in an attic in the small town province of Brescia in Italy. And you've got, like you said, Mario Dorf, who plays Inspector Valentini. You've got Deputy Prosecutor Vittoria Story, played by Giovanna Ralli. And they're on the case. They find this very young schoolgirl, 15 years of age, hanging from the rafters under some really suspicious circumstances. And that's kind of the opening, and that's shocking in a way when you see that. The scene
just with
crime,
her, which makes it so good. It's her. She's the only female. The rest of these males in there, right? And she just sees her hanging there, dude. You almost see the sorrow on her face. He's like, yeah, basically at the end of that, he's like, go and get her down, please.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have the doctor in here, and we'll get to him later. So you have the doctor in here too, that describes the body of what happened, and basically you find out it wasn't suicide.
Right. So you've got this dead girl. No one pretty much knows who she is. They display a photo in the newspaper. They're hoping to identify her. The autopsy reveals the victim to be 15 years of age, just engaged that night or the day of her murder in lots of sexual activity. And she was 2 months pregnant, like Chris mentioned.
She was taking the pill too, but whoops, because they talked to the mother and stuff, and the mother discovers that she was taking the pill. And nope, that didn't. And he basically figured out, when he, and we'll get to that point too, when the detective talks to the boyfriend and says, like, was she a virgin or whatever like that too? And he's like, no, he shook his head. So she was sexually active before that.
Oh, yeah. So they find out, right, through a maid, right? A maid sees the newspaper, and they find out that literally this girl, the victim is called Silvia Polvesi. She recognizes the victim, obviously. Her parents are really well-to-do, and they've got this big business in Africa.
Yeah, they're away in Africa, yeah.
They're pretty much out there, they've been called back and all that.
Yeah, because it was the maid that talks about, the maid, you can tell they're well-to-do people.
The maid's getting these, like, anonymous phone calls as well, and she wonders what the hell is going on. Yeah. Inspector Valentini goes into the bedroom of this young girl, and he finds this pouch, which she would wear around her neck. And it had like a razor blade in, and they're not sure, what the link is.
Yeah, what's going on. Yeah.
Just want to say shout out to Dan there in the chat.
Yeah, Big Dan. Yeah, Flesh Wound Features. Up, yeah, it's good to see you. Thanks for dropping in and saying what's up.
I'll be promoting next week's Region 3 later as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so you've got this case, this really mysterious case, Vittoria Story and Valentino, they're looking back at this footage of this kind of violent student demonstration.
Yeah, it's protests out there. They're pointing out part of this anarchist group, which is totally separate. It's totally separate, but it's because it's her job as the assistant DA to look at this stuff and what's going on. So I had to, to the director, you know what's going on in your country. You just know, and like actual kind of footage, you see the tanks, you see all this stuff. You're like, holy shit. Yeah, it's brutal. And they mentioned that too, says those protests happened yesterday and stuff like that too, while this was going on, because they see that clip and they see her going in there. Just her. Just her. They don't see him, but just her.
And you think about it, all this shit was going on for real, like in the years of lead at that time. But she kind of freeze frames the video, and she's like, she sees Sylvia, Polvezzi, the girl who's been killed, and they're wondering because there's a camera on that building at all times. So literally, that body would have had to have been killed in that building and moved to that attic.
Yeah.
To where they've tried to make out that it's a self-suicide. But the police are not.
That's how she was posed and all this other stuff too, because it makes you think. I think they find out later that she was killed maybe somewhere else, and they brought her there and then hanged her or something happened basically.
They actually find the apartment a little bit later.
Yeah, because there's a scene we come up to and stuff like that. You're thinking, well, wait a minute. It's like, where's the second victim? But we get to who that second victim is.
Yeah, so you've got Valentini, right? So he's got to hand over the murder case now to Inspector Silvestri, Claudio Casanelli's character.
He's like almost like you could almost say like the FBI over there and stuff like that too, or like the special unit for this. You can almost call them SVU and like that. That's why I really like the Policio procedural in this one too, and it goes really fast too. And like say Claudio Casanelli, I just can't. He's just really good here. I don't know. He may be one of my favorite giallo actors. I don't know. It's like, or Italian actor. He was really good what he did.
I think this and Suspicious Death of a Minor is his two kind of.
Yeah, I think that's his standout role is that film.
Yeah, Guy was just born to play this type of character. He's absolutely outstanding. But so you got Valentini's daughter Parizia. And she's from the school as well. They find this middle-aged man who's been taking photos of the murder scene, the attic through the window.
Yeah. They answer the questions and stuff like that. Like, you can't hold me, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Do you find out other stuff about him? But yeah, go ahead, Darren. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
No, you're good, man. They just feel this guy, he's a middle-aged man, Bruno Paligia. And they kind of work out that they think he's just this peeping Tom.
Yeah.
He will come back into things a little bit later. But so Silvestri tracks down the boy in the photographs because this photographer has got all the photographs of this young girl having sex with this young boy as well,
Yeah, they find a picture of all their friends together and stuff like that. Yeah, you see him kind of laying down on a blanket.
And the boy's called Marcello. They go to interview him and he's got this alibi. And we get, what I like about it is we get all these little flashbacks.
It's a first person thing too, because the detective is there, right? Seeing him go up the stairs, their nice little villa. Was that hers? That was hers. I mean, she wasn't less on money. He admitted that. Wasn't less on money.
Well, that was,
he's like, I loved her, but she was not less on money. Right.
Yeah.
And had this place go up to, you see them all there. They all just do the do, have sex, have their fun. And you find out that situation. He's pretty heartbroken about it though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Sylvia's parents, then they come back, they go to see the body.
Yeah.
Farley Granger, which I forgot to mention early on in when we was introducing the characters. The Prowler, So Sweet, So Dead. You could go on forever with.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad you're kind of on here too. You kind of do that, yeah.
Yeah, Strangers on a Train. But so he's the father. The police find the apartment where Sylvia was killed. And they go into like the bathroom and it's completely covered in blood.
Yeah, it looks like literally like a slasher scene from a horror film. Like there's blood all over the place. In the English version, he makes a comment that it could be chicken blood, but they don't know because this is way before DNA. So they can't you can't find out who this person is. They find out who it is later, which is quite interesting scenes. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah, so they find that kind of bathroom scene. They find a tape recorder, but they realize early on that the blood from the person in the bathroom, there has to be a second victim because it's not Sylvia's.
Yeah, they're thinking it's another girl or something like that, but they don't know because they don't have it.
Yeah. So they let this photographer Bruno go, you know.
Yeah, because he has the lawyer. The lawyer says you can't hold him. What do you have him on? You can't hold him.
Yeah.
It's like he's like, well, that's fine. Says we're still going to keep an eye on you, and he says, I guess that's fine. That's good for them if they're going to do that, you know.
Oh yeah. You've got the mother, right, Miss Palvese. She tells Victoria that she's found birth control pills in Sylvia's coat pocket. You've got this really weird flashback as well, where we see Sylvia nude with her mother, and they're kind of arguing a little bit.
She says that and stuff like that. Says, I'm going to tell your father. Says, you do that, I'm going to kill myself. That's when she brings out the razor blade. So you saw how that came in. And she's like, she threatened to do that. And I get her point of view for that, you know, because kids do that. They do that. They'll threaten bodily harm to themselves to get what they want. They'll do that. And it's just, it just gets to that point. And of course, she's up about the father's in total denial. Like, because he's oblivious of a lot of things. He doesn't know she was taking this. Doesn't know. I don't think he knew. I think they told her, but I don't think they told him that she was pregnant. That would probably send him over the edge if he found out that.
Oh, yeah. So you've got the mother was so kind of worried at one stage that she hires this private detective to check on her daughter.
Yeah, this guy,
Ruggero Talenti.
Yes.
And he later drops the case for no reason, you know, that doesn't really go anywhere, or so we think. The father, like you said, he took Sylvia to the doctor because she was saying he worked out that something was troubling her. And young girls, they don't always open up to their fathers, so he takes her to see this psychiatrist.
Real quick, when they find out she was pregnant 2 months, I think. So...
yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I kind of way semesters go and stuff like that too. I'm trying to think, you know, if that's just me seeing this film for like the second time. I love this film a lot, but just thinking, okay, like, would it show yet or not and stuff like that? And just for the fact that the boyfriend didn't know either. Well, I think they told him. I think they told him that she was pregnant, which makes that bad. It's like, oh.
But the thing is, which we find out as well, which we'll come on to, I know it's not like a big mystery, you know, with the kind of pornographic ring that's going on, you know. But with that, the doctor finds out that she's had problems and he's kind of worried about her. It could turn to self-suicide or it could turn into a tragedy. We're not sure at this point, you know. The police have worked out they don't think it's a suicide, put it that way, and they're looking into other avenues.
The reporter mentions it's like a sex maniac or it's a maniac or something like that. It says we don't know that. We're not going to say that, right? And you're like, we're not going to go to the media and say that because we don't know, you know, because they don't know. They're totally oblivious because they really just have one body. They don't have this blood that they see at this apartment yet, you know, in the bathroom, on the toilet, like a bathtub. It's like all over the place. Oh, yeah. You see the shoes too. You see I think it's her slippers or something like that too in that scene. But you know, so it makes you think it's somebody else. Is it another woman? Makes me think that the first time I saw it.
So yeah, it gets interesting now. So Talendi's wife, she says to talk with his mistress, his secretary called Rosa. And she's in hospital. She's just come off.
They talk to his ex-wife first and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
and she's like,
what happened? They got in a car accident. She's like, F them, dude. I'm like, I don't care. I hope they both die. Like, and he's like, okay, let's check these hospitals and try to find out where she's at or where they are at. They think they're both there, but they're not. She is though.
Oh yeah, and she tells them, you know, that pretty much she's having this affair with him. And things get really weird, right? Because they find this guy Talendi's dismembered body wrapped in plastic bags in the trunk of his car.
In this car, they find it abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rose they find the car.
Too upset, didn't she, at first?
Yeah, this is very good shit and stuff like that. Yeah, you find out other things that she has some stuff up in the grate in her hospital room. like, evidence, because he's asking, they'll ask her later and stuff like that of what's going on. You better tell me. They're after him. They're after you. The scene with the wife is actually quite kind of dark, funny. She goes, I want to see them all and stuff like that. Yeah, he hacked them into little pieces, boy. And so I guess we know what happened in the bedroom.
That was the bathroom, yeah. So
I guess we know what happened in the bathroom. You notice that all's done in the bathroom, right? Everything's done in the bathroom, right? The chopping up is done in the bathroom. Why? That's where water's at. But of course, the killer didn't do that. Nah, killer wanted to make an example. You can tell the killer wanted to do an example here big time. So there's something more than it just being like a maniac just killing these people at random.
What's so disturbing about that scene as well is so they're doing an autopsy and they find out that this Talendi guy was actually alive while he was being dismembered. Just to throw that in there. That's pretty horrific.
This is pretty brutal. This is almost video nasty-esque. It's Grindhouse, very Grindhouse. Yeah. They're just putting all these parts together and stuff. Well, they're talking to the doctor too, because the doctor asked, I think that's when the doctor says, yeah, he was alive by the time they chopped him up. They're like, shit.
Oh yeah. Because with this film, it more focuses on the aftermath on some of these deaths.
Because they drugged him. I think he got drugged and then it happened to him. Like they didn't say it like that, but he probably got drugged. He probably got heroin injected in him. And that would be my dark thought process. They did that just to get him maybe numbed up for it and just be like, yeah, whatever, whack, whack, whack.
Right. So Rosa then, the mistress, she calls Silvestri. She wants to tell him something. She's like, this is important. You need to come to the hospital now. And we get that great scene.
This is a great chase scene. Yeah.
Man.
You see the killer for the first time. And this is a good, alternate artwork that Arrow did. This is a great shot of that. That's terrific. Literally, it's a cleaver.
It is,
And on motorcycle one, the killer, and this is an old school, of course, helmet and stuff like that too, goes up these stairs and tries to go into her and goes into her room and stuff like that too, and tries to get her. That's when he hears the police cars coming up, and the killer leaves and just goes really quiet, like going down these stairs, and it's like, go after him, be safe and stuff like that, go after him. And that's when the officer just turns around with the hand and gets half of his hand chopped off, what?
Napoli,
Napoli and stuff like that. They just leave. Wow, whatever. We're going to try to find the dude.
Oh yeah, and the killer was pretty much trying to get, he's after something. He knows that Rosa holds.
The killer asks her, "Where is it?" And stuff like that. Yeah, where's the stuff?
Her pretty much. Where have you hidden this stuff?
Yeah.
Which we find out, obviously.
She's in shock and all this stuff too, because she either uses her eyes and stuff like that. She points up to where it's at, and they get a chair, go up there, and find a lot of incriminating evidence.
They do, yeah.
It's not good. It pisses you off, to tell you the truth. It really does, because it's nothing new. It's nothing new.
This is where Dallamano, right, for me, comes into his forte, his own. Because there's this chase scene, right? So you've got Silvestri chasing the killer by car. This killer's on a motorbike. And they're fucking chasing him through the fucking streets of Brescia.
Oh, it's terrific. It's straight up Policio Tessie. Oh, great scenes from the car. It's great scenes from the car. Italians have a way of doing that. They just have a way of doing that. Putting that camera on the hood of the car, or I don't know how they do that. I know it's in the back or whatever like that, but they kind of put it in the hood of the car. There's kind of going, it's really good.
And you got the suspenseful scene, right? Because they're chasing this killer, and this killer goes up through this
train tracks.
Train tunnel.
Yeah, it goes through the tunnel.
Oh man. And we hear the train coming on the other
we hear
side.
it coming.
For a moment,
there was a gift there a bit like that, because he almost falls off the bike. He's at this edge of that, and he stops for a second. I'm like, oh shit.
So he kind of gets away, and there's this big suspense scene where, as the train actually got the killer as well, as it run the killer.
He just go through. He's going, damn it! There, he's pissed that they. Oh, he's give me a break. It's okay, just find the person. Look for these motorcycles. They have the forensics dude or whatever like that comes with him like a plaster of Paris thing of the wheels from the motorcycle. Okay, find out who bought these motorcycles, find out everybody who bought these motorcycles in the past, whatever like that. The police procedural is like muy bueno here. The best use of police procedural I've seen in like a Giallo West type of a film like this is the Bloodstained Butterfly. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, it's like the one with the pen and stuff like that too. It's very good.
Oh yeah. The only thing they have got to go on, like you say, is these tire tracks. They find the cleaver, but there's no prints. Obviously, the killer's wearing black gloves.
Yeah.
Rose is in hospital, and she shows the police all these like tape recording she's got. She's hidden in a vent in her room.
Yeah.
And they reveal this underage prostitution ring run by these older men. You hear all these young schoolgirls. Sylvia's voice is actually on the tape. And yeah, you've kind of got
one they get introduced to later that they don't recognize until they find her, and then you get some information, a lot more information about this whole thing. They don't recognize. They recognize somewhat the voice of the man with one of them and stuff like that, telling them what to do. It's like, yeah, get on your stomach. And that comes to play really later, which is very, very disturbing the way the prosecutor describes this piece of shit. This piece of shit.
She's got the maid, and she's interviewed by the police as well. And she tells them that Sylvia was having these very strange phone calls just on the day, she went missing or a couple of days previous. And some man was kind of threatening her on the phone. And then there's there's two real main lines of kind of plot here now. You've got this killer on the loose. You've got this prostitution ring. We're not sure if they go hand in hand at this point. The police learn then of this butcher who's recently bought a motorbike. The tire tracks match everything. His name's Roberto Mecciori. You got Sergeant Gardenia then. He gets a photo of this guy, and we realize through the father then that this guy has gone missing 3 months previous. They don't know where he is, and they're trying to put his photo everywhere to get people to come forward, pretty much to like where he is.
Through the tapes that they're listening to as well, you find out that it's his friend detective's daughter. He recognizes her voice. They meet each other like real quick because he's picking her up or taking her to school, and then he hears her say something, and then he says, I need to talk to you. Like, can I talk to you in the office today? Right here. Okay, Dad, no problem. You find out that she was part of that. And that's just like these son of a bitches are telling you they raped my daughter and all this other stuff too. She was part of that. There's a great scene where he picks her up from school and he's all like, you see that look on his face?
That's like, all she sees is that look on his face.
Yeah, all his face. She knows.
She knows.
Like, Daddy's like going, oh, it's okay, fine. We're just going to have a little talk. And that's where you find out all kinds. Well, some stuff she doesn't know who this person is. She don't. Now, there's one major player in this. They don't know who they are. And there's a reason. We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah. So Vittoria then, she gets this note under the door, pretty much saying, look, this is your last warning. That's when you get, Sylvester tells Valentino his daughter's voice is on the tape. It's fucking disturbing, man. You get the brilliant scene, standout scene, almost like out of a fucking Martino film, where Vittoria, she gets stalked by the killer, and that she's in this
in the parking lot. In the parking lot.
Man, what a scene!
It's very, very good. It's very, very quiet. Like, yeah, the killer takes out one of the drivers. I think it is.
He butchers a driver with the
butchers the bleep out of him. Like, he did. Like, and she goes up the elevator. It's like a glass elevator, those glass doors. And I'm like going, it's coming, boy. Just shatters like right there. And there's a great shot of the cleaver just like right next to her. Whack.
But you've got the whole cat and mace before that, where she's hiding under these cars. The killer in the dark is fucking pretty
that's
way
proto. Yeah, meta.
Yeah. The lift scene, like you say, harkens forward actually to Dress to Kill. Case of the Bloody Iris come just before this, so there's that.
Yeah, Case of the Bloody Iris is very good. Yeah.
such a great scene. I think that parking garage. There's a similar scene with Ed Weege in Strange Voice of Mrs. Ward.
Mrs. Worth.
They go fucking hand in hand, and they're superb. You got the police, and they're appealing to find this, Roberto Meteori guy. Any information they want leading to his arrest, they're just putting it out there, like I say. Valentini's daughter, Parizia, she tells Silvestri that her friend Juliana, played by Adriana Falco, and she's the young kind of, she looks young, even though
she's the tomboyish type one.
Tomboyish,
she's the standout. Yeah, she's definitely the standout of this one too, because you see her at the start, kind of part of this whole thing. Yeah, when they bring her in for questioning, she gives two shits about anything. Is like, basically, I did this for the money and stuff like that too. Detective's trying to get this shit out of her and stuff like that. He's like going, dude, I'm going to be your dad, like, real quick here. If you don't, like, just give me, it's like, okay. I'll tell you what I kind of know and stuff like that, too. Because you could tell with her on one of them and stuff like that, too, she wasn't having the bullshit that these creepy motherfuckers were doing for the most part. No,
she's very kind of street smart.
Yeah.
But the actress I just want to mention quickly, Adriana Falco, she was in a very similar film to this, actually, called Calling All Police Cars, that come a year later, and it's got this storyline with the prostitution ring and all that. So
I think Kat Ellinger described that one.
Have you seen that, Chris? Because I know me and
I haven't seen that one, but it's part of the special features. Special features. Kat Ellinger is always a banger, whatever she does and stuff like that. Goes through kind of like filmography, a bit of Dalmano's films and stuff like that. I highly recommend it.
So Julia then, she's been getting all her schoolgirl friends introduced to this prostitution ring. The guy, the peeping Tom from earlier, Bruno Paglielli, he's been ringing her. She don't know what he looks like. All she knows is his voice. And he's pretty much been ringing her and telling her to go and meet these different men for money and all that. And she's, like Chris said, she's very street smart. She's very kind of got this swagger about her, she doesn't give a shit about anything or anyone. She's played brilliant, I think, by Falco. I think, like, I highly recommend, and you could put Calling All Police Cars with this film, and it
with this one, and they match pretty good. Yeah, that dude makes a call, to his superiors. You don't know who's on the other side. Saying, "Don't call me again." Like, it's whatever. Whatever like that. He's packing up his stuff, and then that's when he just gets stabbed and stabbed and stabbed, and he's dead. Automatically, it happened. Like, so it's somebody they knew. It's somebody they knew, and that was it. It's a great scene. He tries to go for the phone. Nope.
He's stabbed, and he's at home, isn't he? And he's in panic mode because just before he got stabbed, like you say, he's on the phone. He's talking to these very kind of high up people involved in this prostitution ring. We will kind of find out.
We'll get to really who's way up there. Yeah.
Silvestri then, so he's got to work out now. They've got the dead body of this Bruno Paglia, and he's got to work out how to try and con the press into thinking that this Paglia has survived. Because he wants a little bit more time to find out what's been going on in this case. And then you've got Sylvia's old psychiatrist, Professor Beltrame. And he's found dead in the bathtub, and they think it could be
he slit his
wrist.
Suicide. Yeah, he committed suicide.
And they're thinking, what's he got to do with this story? Sylvester notices a young girl at Beltrame's funeral. Laura, played by Renate Zamora, and she said they met 2 years ago, and he would drug and sexually abuse her.
There's a scene she goes back on with that.
She didn't know where she was.
What he did to her. You basically find out. We're skipping a little bit. You basically find out later. The DA, she does a great job of explaining this. He was impotent. He's like going, so how did he do whatever with a bottle? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It is kind of gruesome. Yeah, it is. We find out that she mentions there was at least another man and girl involved in all this. But him being like impotent Yeah, it's kind of nasty to know
But
that.
then whatever like that, you could just see the look on his face. They zoom in on it. He takes off the glasses. You see her pick up her panties and all this other stuff too. It's pretty disgusting.
It
Really,
is.
the spoiler with this one here is they mention it. If it's high ranking ring and stuff like that too, like they have documents, because they go through the good doctor's things, finds out a lot of stuff. It goes as high up as the prime minister. That's where it gets interesting.
I mean, it really does. So they've got all these names now, these like hierarchy, these top politicians. These two young girls, they must have seen this police bulletin, and they realize they find out where this Roberto.
Well, first off, they do like a bulletin wise where they're going to lie and say that the dude is dead. That they. The first guy to maybe tell him that that maybe he's still alive, that they gave him some information and they put that in the papers. Hopefully the killer will see it, and then, like I say, it's a great scene. Really, you see the two kids automatically going across this person, which great camera work, and they kids being kids and stuff like that is like, oh, okay. They all tell them their names and stuff like that. Really smart, and say where they're at, and. Where's this place at and stuff like that, and they surround him, which comes to a pretty good kind of scene at the end here. Kind of gets towards that.
It does, yeah. So he's in a nearby I don't know how you pronounce it, Patizia or whatever. I think it's almost like a shopping center or something like
where
that.
these places are. Yeah, it's pretty neat scene.
They got him surrounded, right? So this guy, he's on his motorbike, he just comes out of this fucking building and he decides he's gonna try and shoot his way out.
Yeah, he kills one of the officers. Yeah.
He does, yeah. He gets gunned down himself, obviously.
That's an interesting scene there because you see the patches that were basically on him and stuff like that. So you see that in slow motion, which is fine. That's fine.
Boom, 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 boom. Really? Do we know if I was going to ask you this question actually? Is he completely like separate to this prostitution ring? I think he's just a separate murderer, isn't he? He's just like this.
It was a quick mention that I think his character, that's the thing, that's what made this really go up for me. It's very convoluted. Yeah. I think it was a thing of revenge. Like, basically, I think he was involved in this prostitution ring, helping them out, helping get these girls, and then he just said, you know what, this can't happen. Because over the suicide of the girl, that's the disturbing part of that. I'm like going, so why would he do that? That's the one thing that, you know what I mean? It's like kind of, gets it up there and stuff like that. But other stuff, of course, comes to light. That was the more interesting part about it. It gets kind of convoluted in that sense.
It doesn't spell it out. I don't think it actually tells you that he was directly involved. But I might be wrong. I don't think he does. And maybe he was like the separate killer. That's something you've got to work out for yourself because it is very ambiguous towards the end. But you've got the real kind of kick in the teeth ending, right? Yeah. This doesn't end well.
Like I said, the guy that plays like the main like DA and part of that, because they come talk to him. I forget his name, Darren, that actor. I don't know if I said his name right. If it's Coronado Giapia and stuff like that. He was in like a Giallo as a detective and stuff like that. Kind of like a little heavy set dude with the glasses. He's done other stuff before.
Yeah.
And I think he was in Short Night of Glass Dolls too. And he basically says, just find your killer, okay? And then I'll worry about the other stuff. He basically talks to him in his car and saying, you got the killer. Don't worry about it and stuff like that too. Gives him the paperwork. So we're going to do nothing about this, right? That's when you find out his partner, the other detective, is going to retire. He has his pink slip basically in there, says, you know what? I can't do this shit.
That's why I think the killer was almost like a distraction to the prostitution ring. So maybe they did go hand in hand, maybe they didn't. But that final shot is where, he's pretty much saying, look, we know who's ahead of this prostitution ring, but we can't touch him. He's so high up. We can't touch any of them.
Yeah, the prime minister. If the prime minister is involved, like you say, that's above your pay grade. And the two main players are dead. So you have no witnesses to this and all this stuff too. That's when you see he goes, you know what, then whatever like that. And she goes, me too. I'm with you in this, whatever you want to do. And that's when you see the other detective just rip up his slip. Okay. And that's where it really ends wise.
And then I guess, you can go to Red Rings of Fear. Even though it wasn't directed by Dallamano, we did write the script.
He did write the script, yeah.
Franco Ferrini come in and kind of, made his own thing of it. But I would highly recommend watching these in order. Go for like what I've done to Solange, what I've done to your daughters, then Red Rings of Fear, then Calling All Police Cars if you want to throw another one in.
Yeah, Suspicious Death of a Minor. Yeah, these are all part of that.
You've got
really high-ranking thing. Even Short Night of Glass Dolls. There's a cult aspect to it, where it just kind of goes through to that. And yeah, what was the ending saying for that film, Darren? Because they do. What have they done to your daughters? Because he puts up another saying too and stuff like that. It's like there's death, there's corruption.
Like a quote, yeah.
Yeah, he mentions corruption. Too, it's it's like
I think
at its peak wise. Yeah,
pretty much saying like, is this something like the corruption of the young and
the corruption of the young still going on and stuff like that too. I'll go. Yeah.
Go on.
It's a good one. I'll go first. This gets an 8.5 out of 10. This is almost a 9. This is how much I love this film a lot. It almost goes to a 9. I'm kind of shocked I got up that high. I was almost going to go with like a solid 8 out of 10. Nah, this is an 8.5 out of 10, almost a 9 for me. That's all I'm kind of gonna say because it's kind of separate from a lot of what you can consider a giallo in general.
For me, this would have been a year or two ago an 8 out of 10. It's gone way up, man. It's a 9.
Excellent.
And I like Solange is a 10, I think, at this stage.
Oh wow, yeah, it's very good. I like Solange quite a lot. Yeah.
This has got everything you want in a giallo film. You've got Italian crime film elements in there as well.
It's shot really well. I see no real big issues other than the convolutionness of some of the, of the ending, like you say, in general, because it kind of separates itself. The killer, that's a good point that Darren made, where if it is the killer part of this whole thing, the opening scene kind of set the stage for this film. But yeah, it's definitely a banger. Highly recommend it. And you can get these, you don't need to get the Jolly Essentials set. Just wait for an Arrow sale. I've seen these cheap, like $20 and stuff like that. I highly recommend this. Like, yeah, definitely. This and Solange, definitely. And of course, Red Rings of Fear, to Darren's point.
Yeah. So, if you've not seen this film, and do yourself a favor.
And like I say, just great special features on this. Like, just say real quick, it's 2K restoration. It looks terrific. Audio commentary by, of course, Troy Howarth.
Yeah, superb.
Yep. Video essay by Kat Ellinger. That's worth this for enough. Eternal Melody, an interview with composer Stelvio Cipriani. That's a very good interview with him. With the score of this film, he talks about him. He talks about that car accident that he was in. Him, me, you, Dirk probably think alike about that. Like I said, a lot of shit probably, it happens all the time. Yeah, that's not by accident. That was no accident. I think his car was
how relevant is this film to today?
It's extremely
in America at this time.
Yeah, unused hardcore footage shot for the film by Massimo Dallamano. I've seen that one as well. That's very interesting to watch.
It's very kind of
all the
very rough footage, isn't it? Very rough pornographic footage, which Dallamano did actually shoot. I just got to mention quickly, aka this was called The Coed Murders.
Yeah.
And in Germany, the German translation was Death Wears Black Leather.
So, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'd almost use that for the other one that we're going to talk about. This one is a strip nude for your killer. This is 1975. This was done kind of a little bit before that. Very interesting one.
Very different tone.
So let's see if I can say this right. So Nude per El La Assassino from 1975, directed by Andrea Bianchi. Didn't do a lot. I'll let you get into that director like a little bit here in a second. And of course, it stars the great Edwidge Finish as Magda, and this was done in 75 too. So we're kind of at the end of the life cycle of gialli. So you got these different type of films. This is definitely a sleazy one. It stars Nino Castelnuovo as Carlo. It has Amanda, just her name, Amanda, as Gisela, and then it has Franco Diogini as Maurizio. I had to put him in here because he's great in his role, the fat dude and stuff like that too, but he's very good, and he's likable character too. So this was released in August 26th of 1975. Filming locations, beautiful Milan, Lombardia, Italy, and stuff like that too. Okay, go ahead, Darren. What else you got on this bad boy?
Right, so this is called, or was called also, Naked Women for the Killer. In Germany, it was called The Full Mystery Killer, and in Spain, it was called Nude in the Presence of the Killer.
Naked Women for the Killer is interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
so that kind of works.
This is just fun.
It is. It's a dark comedy too, so it's almost like it's meta for what it is at the time. So I appreciate what Andrea did for this film, trying something new, adding a little bit of spice to it. And it's definitely a sleazy one, to your point. And what's better than Edwidge Finish, in the Nude doing sexual favors? She had no issue with it. We'll get to that. She had no issue with certain scenes. She's like, yeah, I can do that too. No problem.
There's 2 scenes in this with Edwidge Finesse that.
Yeah, that's a trip.
I question anyone like.
With her and Nino is crazy. Yeah, because there's one sex scene with Nino and stuff like that where he literally got an erection from it. Yeah, that can happen.
It would happen, definitely. So you got genre specialist Massimo Felicetti. They wrote this film. They also wrote The Weekend Murders, The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. And
I love The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave.
Yeah. Makeup effects was by Marcello De Paolo. They're very kind of convincing, I think, in this. I was reading Joy Howard's book, and he mentions a little bit about that. The soundtrack by Berto Pisano, really catchy.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah,
it's definitely one of the best.
It's one of the better ones, definitely, for something like this. Yeah.
This was Edwidge Finesse, last Giallo of the 70s. I know she did go on and do others. Nino Castellavaro, he was in a Giallo in the 60s called Psychgate for Murder, 1969, which I actually kind of recommend. It's a decent one.
Okay.
You've got Femi Benusi as well. She plays kind of this blonde bimbo, doesn't she, at the start of the film?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, Killer Must Kill Again, Bloodsucker Leads the Dance, two Giallo films she was in. I mean, Burial Ground, the director made Burial Ground, which is probably...
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit, I forgot. Thank you for... Boy, I need to do my research more. Yeah, that's one of my all-time zombie films. One of these days, I may do a video talking about that. Yeah, because I think Burial Ground's an unofficial Gates of Hell trilogy film. Like, seriously, I think it's that good.
Oh, yeah, check out Texas Hardcore channel.
Yeah, y'all did a watch-along for that film.
Almost like a commentary.
I've done it on my channel, too. It's bonkers great.
Love it, man. Love it. But no, with this one, I don't know if you've got anything you want to say first before we jump into it.
Other than, like I said, the release date, August 26, 1975. Basically, just like I say, Edwidge is a standout here. She acts way herself. Nino Castellnuovo, he plays a sleazebag in this one to the best extent. Like, really, he's a sleazebag photographer, that works for this modeling, you can say, agency. So you can almost put this with Blood and Black Lace a little bit, where it's literally all these models getting picked up. It starts out with an abortion being done. That's why this is a sleazy giallo.
It is, yeah.
Where basically this body being disposed of, not really being disposed of, but she dies during the procedural, and they put her in this big bathtub, steel like bathtub and stuff like that, and to turn on the water, which comes into play later in this film, which is done actually quite good, in my opinion. So I've had a better appreciation. It's shot very good. The acting is peak acting. It's very good. Everyone's just the start of this film with him at this pool place and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you see this chick just walking through, and she's a good actress too. What's her name? The redhead?
Femi Benusi, you on back?
Yeah. Who's been in other things in the past, walks right past him, and he just goes right after that and say, yeah, stop taking pictures. It's like going, yeah, let's just go into this steam room and stuff like that. Yeah, no problem. It's like going, oh, looks like I'm out of like whatever like that, and has sex with her there. one of his friends like spots him in there and stuff like that, she goes like, oh, whatever, because like it is what it is. And then it just goes to Edwidge Finch's character, like say she's a photographer taking pictures of these people, these models and stuff like that. You get introduced to the characters. You have the stylists and all these other characters. Go ahead, Darren.
So yeah, the opening scene, like you mentioned, there is this botched abortion scene where they're trying to cover it up, like Chris said, and they leave the taps on. They leave this body, so the police are like believe that this woman had a fatal heart attack in the bath. You see Milan at night.
How interesting is that? So it's a fatal heart attack in the back. So you don't realize that, the procedural, like the doctor was doing something with the JJ. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You've got the doctor who's killed by this black figure in a motorcycle helmet, stabbed. And then it's kind of implied that he's castrated too. Because we see that momentary.
Yeah, we've seen certain scenes where it looks different. That's why he's leaving somewhere.
Was the girl who got killed at the start. You mentioned the swimming pool is kind of almost like a
Yeah, sex comedy, which Edwidge was known for kind of before.
Carlo, he's in his tidy swimming trunks. And he literally sees this Femi Benusi's character, Lucia, walk past him. All the men in this swimming pool are like all got their tongues out, she's very attractive, and she walks by. And he goes and pursues her. Like he's like, look, you're perfect for like these magazines I want to do for the cover. And she kind of shrugs him off at first, but then she kind of lets him give her this unofficial interview in the sauna, which is kind of funny. It's sleaze, man. It starts off really sleazy.
He takes her back to the agency and stuff like that. Says, yeah, this is so-and-so and stuff like that. And that's where you get introduced to the woman that runs the place and her sleazy husband and stuff like that, who has a thing going on with one of the models, or so you think, or trying to have a thing with one of the models. And you get introduced to these cast of characters. I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. Just set this up and stuff like too. And then Edwidge's character and stuff like that notices that, and that leads to something completely different. And I'm like, okay.
So we got Carlo. Like you say, he brings her to the office. We see Gazella is the woman who runs this kind of photo,
Amanda. That's just her name. Her actress name is just Amanda, which I find interesting. But I don't know what her last name is and stuff like that too, where she like goes after Carlo more than once and stuff like that, saying, can't just be bringing these women here. Then you realize something later about her, that she likes her, and she says, yeah, I can do something with you. That leads on to the last film we're going to talk about too, because they're very kind of similar in that aspect, in my opinion.
Well, she's this Gazella who owns this business. She takes Lucia into the office, and then we find out that that she's got lesbian tendencies.
Oh yeah.
Her husband Maurizio, this big obese guy, he's trying to sleep with every single kind of photographer and model and all this in this actual business. We see the nightclub scene. So we see these lesbians on stage and they're kissing, and dancing. He's taken this Parizia, this model, and he's literally just trying to get her in his bed. So he's took her there, and he's like, yeah, we can go back.
Can we go and stuff like that? Yeah, we can leave and all this other stuff too. He's trying to impress her. He's kind of a sap in this one too, but I like that character that he has. He's a good actor, like what he's trying to do here.
He was in opera. He was in that.
That's right. Opera. Yeah, he's in opera.
He turns up in quite a few different films, actually. You've got Carlo then, and he's getting kind of his pictures developed. Magda Finch, she comes in and she strips off and starts giving him oral sex, man. And it is just fucking, that's what you got to put yourself in for with this film.
Yeah,
because the sleaze just keeps
just on automatically. Just automatically just does that stuff. You're pretty much good to go.
And she looks absolutely fucking amazing in this film. Absolutely amazing. What's this, 75, So
75,
good few years after a Martino, when she starred in Sergio's films.
Yeah, she cut her hair, made it, basically, basically cut mostly all of her
short hair.
Short hair, yeah.
So you've got Mario, and he's this photographer. He's a gay character. and he gets this picture of all these people in the studio. You know, you get this one.
It's like a shot of everybody in the studio, like a group picture, right? Yeah,
like prom night, anyway.
Yeah, like prom night, like
picking them off as he kills them.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much got this picture, and he gives it to the killer, and we don't know who the killer is at this point, you know. But what we do know is he knows the killer because he answers the door.
He answers the door. It's a typical kind of scene that you would see in Jali, like, you know, just doing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Four Flies on Grey Velvet. You know, they open the door. Oh, hi, how you doing? And stuff like that too. Here you go, like a drink. And he gets stabbed, and then he's in a very interesting position. Like, say, his pants are pulled down, and
very.
I guess obviously, I'm guessing he was castrated. When I look at it, I'm like, going, damn, okay.
Yeah, very, very kind of graphic scenes. Like you say, there is a clue because he does say to the killer, he's like, "Oh, darling," you know, so that he knows who it is.
It's heterosexual.
The model Patricia, she actually turns up. She finds him dead, passes out. I think she wakes up like the next day or something, or the police come in the next day to.
Yeah.
So the police are interviewing Gisela and Lucia about what's going on. And it's so sleazy. Even one of the cops is like eyeing up Lucia in like this perverted way, looking at her kind of down below and all that. So this one, like Chris said, I think you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, his partner. Yeah, the detective's partner is quite funny too. Like, he's the one just like looking at all the ladies and stuff like that too. And she, like you say, she's all cross-legged and stuff like that too. And she's like, just pulling her dress down a little bit.
This is kind of. So bear with us with this one because it is kind of convoluted a little bit. Lucia ends up sleeping with Gisela, like this lesbian type relationship they got going on, and she's jealous pretty much because Lucia has been banging Carlo too, you know. So she ends up trying to blackmail Gisela, and that's something you don't do in these films, you know. You know, much not to blackmail.
Yeah, you just don't do that. Yeah, something's going to happen. Yeah.
You got a great sequence, I think one of the best sequences in the film early on, where Lucia is being stalked around Gisela's apartment.
Yeah, they set her in on the curtains like that are open, right? Or the wind blowing through and stuff like that too.
We think the killer's behind the curtain, don't we?
Yeah. Well, you hear the running water, which, like I say, is a thing in this film. You'll notice water's running, so she goes and she kind of turns it off, and you just find out certain stuff that happens. A scene that's almost similar is almost exactly to the T that happens later on, but she goes through these corridors. It's very good. It's a good slow burn.
It is. So where you think the killer's behind the curtains, but then it takes you completely by surprise because the killer jumps out of the shower, repeatedly stabs her to death. This film pulls no punches, man. It completely goes for it in some of the violent scenes. Carlo and Magdia, the morning after, there's like a comedy scene which I could have done without, where
coffee, I like cream for my coffee or milk for my coffee.
Yeah,
that's where she gets the newspaper and the milk is there. Yeah, and find out some stuff there.
They see in the newspaper then that Lucia's been killed. But it's a weird scene because Carlo goes to strangle her.
Yeah, because this thing weren't you the one that brought her in there and stuff, brought her here to everything and stuff like that too. So you're thinking, first time seeing this, you're thinking, oh, he's a suspect wise because he's a sleazeball in my opinion. He kind of calms down a little bit later on in the film.
The picture as well. So they got the newspaper picture of
isn't that funny?
Lucia, it wouldn't happen today, obviously. But Lucia's died with this earring in her hand, and Magna's like, "I'm sure I've seen that earring before." And Carlo's like,
that comes to play later.
You probably haven't. But Gisela then becomes like a real kind of another one of the main suspects as well. You've got the whole kind of wacky, funny scene as well as Maurizio. He takes Doris, one of the models, on this mad car journey.
Yeah, he's like going, oh, the English dub is hilarious for that. He's like,
Oh,
whoa,
man.
here we go. Oh, it's okay. We're almost there. Whoa.
It's almost like a
Like,
sex maniac. He can't wait to get her back to his place where he wants to have sex.
it
with
is
her,
funny.
and
She's like, oh, slow down. Oh my God, I'm going to die. It's like, get me out of the car.
like
It's like,
begging her for sex at this place. And he even looks like he's going to rape her at one point. It's really kind of disturbing in a way. But it turns to complete comedy because he's impotent. He can't get an erection.
yeah, he starts crying and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him. I can't
And
believe it. It's
then,
like,
you
so
know
does
what?
she. She actually kind of likes him a bit. You'll find
She
out
does,
about
yeah.
that later of why she is the way she is. You find out about that later, which came out of like left field. Like I'm like, whoa, wait a
Yeah.
minute, what? It's like, but you know, it kind of worked.
But you find out that he's kind of got mommy issues as well. So he has to, the only thing that's going to get him off sexually is this blow up doll.
Yeah,
So he brings
because
his
he offers
blow-up doll in.
he offers her the money, and she says, "No, keep it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
You know,
she's
it's
like,
okay.
your
Yeah,
wife's
there's
gonna
nothing
know
wrong
if
here.
you-
I'll
you
just
know.
take a cab home. It's okay."
Yeah. And then we got his death scene, which is
Yeah, the
kind
same
of
scene with the
fantastic.
water, right? It's almost same. That's why I say shot to shot with the woman with him too, right? Because he's like there. And then he
Yeah.
turns. The curtains look the same. Everything looks the same for this place. That's what made it interesting to me. I'm like, is this the same place? Because the same apartment, like. And then you realize, like I say, it was the place that his wife took her at. So it's the
Yeah.
same place where the same kills happen, which is that's the first time I've kind of seen that in the Jali where it's almost cohabitation horror, where you know a lot of stuff happens in the same house, same spot, and these two kills happen in the same spot. It's just done a little bit differently. But yeah, you get the running water. Yeah, as he's blowing up the doll, he hears the water running.
Yeah, he's brutally stabbed to death. You get like Gazella, then she denies that earring is hers. And the main kind of like plot of this film, and from this point on, is literally these people in this albatross photographic studio are just getting bumped off one by one. It is kind of very much all over the place at times, but that's the plot, kind of the original.
Yeah, that's kind of how you go
main
into this
plot.
film. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You've got Magna then. She overhears, she's in Gazella's place, isn't she? And she overhears someone kind of blackmailing her over the phone. She realizes it is Gazella's actually earring in the newspaper picture, and her and Carlo then just have sex again, just because it's because they can. Yeah.
Just like this, they can. Yeah.
And she goes full frontal nudity as well, which is like, man.
That's where he said just doing that as he was kissing her and she's like doing the same thing with him and stuff like that. That's where he said he got an erection there. It's like, hey, of course, it said which finish. It's like, yeah, sure.
I'd be surprised if you didn't, to be honest. Like,
she's always been open. She's always been open to it. Like her and what's his name from, like I say, from Strange Vice and All the Colors, the same type of relationship. They're good friends, so they're able to do it. Who knows? So it's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Oh yeah. The killer strikes again then, killing Gazella.
It's like a meeting. She's there to get something.
Meeting.
Yeah, blackmailer.
Yeah. It's kind of out there as well, because she ends up getting the ear cut off. Obviously, the earrings got a lot to play, into this film. Carlo literally sees.
He sees what's happened. He's taking photographs of it. Yeah.
And the police end up coming, but they're too late. And Carlo literally got to put this reel of film in this dustbin, trash can, or what have you.
Yeah, because he gets hit by
get away. Yeah,
he gets does he get hit by a car? Yeah, it's something like that. But he gets
run over, by a car.
He gets run over and stuff like that too. And it's right next to his place, because when when she goes out there to get it, because he calls from the hospital, she doesn't have to go. She literally takes the car and drives it like a few feet and picks up this thing. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm sure. I noticed that. I'm like, sure, why not?
Oh, yeah. And obviously in that film is the clue to who the killer is.
Yeah, or so you think. There's part of it.
Well, yeah.
That's where the convolution kind of comes into it, but it's very interesting.
the killer realizes that, they start following Magna then. You get the heavy breathing and the motorcycle get-up gear.
That's what I kind of like about the killer is like there's heavy breathing through the mask and stuff like that. Boy, that's before Halloween. So
yeah, I mean they all get linked, Yeah. So the killer follows her back to the studio. She's got this gun. The killer kind of fucking in a great scene actually. Killer like jumps out on her. Literally attacks her. Doesn't kill her, but he burns all this film, all this, this reel of film that would incriminate themselves with.
Yeah.
But she's kind of, I don't know if she gets knocked out or something, but she's not dead.
Yeah, she's almost like she's drunk or drugged or something like that. It seems that way. The way he's acting when Carla goes back there to like to pick her up and get her kind of like out of there and stuff like that.
But she was wise enough to make a copy of this film, so which the killer doesn't know at this point. Then you've got, I don't know about you, but this is where it kind of went all over the place for me.
Yeah.
You get the character of Stefano, who I guess we actually saw him a little bit in one scene earlier. But when he shows up, I'm thinking
the husband of what's her name? Yeah. The guy Doris. Doris. Because she's home, he comes up like and oh boy, all kinds of abusiveness and stuff like that. She apologizes and all this other stuff too. So spoiler here, I'll say it. So he was the one that was there with the blackmail. So he was the one that was on the phone. Because there's a reason, because he's like, because of her husband's a piece of shit and all this other stuff too. And stuff like that too. Flipping hits her and all this other stuff too. And she's begging him like, oh, please, it's okay. It's okay. But that's when you hear something it's a great scene in that apartment, all done in the dark and stuff like that too. And they get killed badly.
Oh yeah. So, he's been gaslighting her. He's awful. He's just treating her like shit. But then we realized that the killer is actually in the apartment with them.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene.
She has her bra on and stuff like that too, and it's an interesting fall down scene. Like stabs her and then just rips the bra off. She happens to be full frontal as she falls like down, and he's like,
we see the killer, don't we, through the door, like in the
yes, apartment. Yeah, that's a trip. Yeah,
it is. They end up getting absolutely brutally butchered.
Yeah, they show that like a bit afterwards, like her breasts or left breast is like cut out and stuff like that. I'm like, oh damn.
His penis was castrated. We see the aftermath. That's what I mean with this. Like similar to the first film as well. You see a lot of the aftermath. You don't, we do see the kill scenes to a certain degree, but a lot of
the aftermath of it because he's there. Carlos shows up. He sees what happens, and then. He sees her on the chair and he goes, so the killer took her there, put her on the chair. So you think and you're like, whoa, that's a trip, right? So picks her up just as the police are coming. So they go out the back door just as the police show up. Pretty good. And you just see all this stuff too. Then they're trying to figure out what's going on and all this other stuff too. Go ahead, Darren. You just lead us off of that.
Magna's been drugged by the killer. So she's in a state, where she can barely move, and Carlo's got to try and take her away, from the crime scene. We find out that Stefano was the one actually blackmailing Gazella. And Carlo then finds the killer in his apartment.
The killer goes back to their apartment and stuff like that, too. Yeah.
There's all this, like, medieval stuff in there, and...
there's the sword. You see the killer take up the sword and stuff like that because the killer knows that he's in there.
He kind of stops the killer from killing Magna then. I love the theme tune.
They go down the stairs. Pushes the killer down the stairs. And pretty much kind of like with that goes all the way down the stairs. And then then he unmasks the killer and you find out, go ahead, Darren, just say the spoiler here, who the killer is.
So the end reveal. So we reveal that Patricia was the killer. She was literally this is where it gets convoluted. So she was Evelyn's sister, the first kill. No,
the way Carlo explains it, she was the sister. Yeah,
and they were lovers, ancestral lovers as well.
Yeah, and he was part of the disposing of the body. So yeah, of course he's blameless of that and stuff like that. Well, she was already dead. That was his fucking excuse.
That's where it does get really kind of fucking out there.
Yeah,
this whole plot. You know,
that's why you can like it for what it is, really. Yeah, you can. I like films like that. Yeah, I like they're WTF Jallies. That's really what Jallies. Mostly the good ones are WTF. It's what opera is. It's like certain scenes you're like going, whoa, wait.
Don't go into this expecting fucking logic because you're not going to.
No, you're not going to get it.
There's a bizarre ending which I love as well.
It's very much like Evelyn came out of the grave. It's very much like Evelyn came out of the grave in that aspect, even though that film's better than this, but still.
So let's talk about the bizarre ending, right? So you got Carlo. He bends Magna over, pretty much says to her, look, I'm going to be having sex with you anally. And then it just ends, and it
just ends. They all just like laugh about it and stuff like that. It says, "Oh, don't worry, it's fine. I won't get you pregnant or anything like that." And type of situation. Yeah,
you know, I get it. Where there's a lot of horrific stuff happens in the film. They want to end on like a comedic note. I don't think we needed it, to be honest. But you know, that said, I still love this film. I really do. It's not quite top tier, I don't think. Maybe it does kind of maybe creep in. It's borderline top tier, maybe.
It's to me, it's I do like it. I'll give my score here in a second. I think it's in the C. Yeah. It's like in the C plus type of Jalli tier. If I'm going like A, B, C, it's a C plus wise and stuff like that.
Oh shit, that's kind of low down.
It is, but my score maybe reflect maybe a little bit differently. But it's in that one where it's still fun to watch, to your point. It's Edwidge finish and stuff like that. The kills are good. The scenes are actually quite good. And, you know, why not add some dark comedy into it? Kind of lightens the mood a bit for something that doesn't need a light mood.
For doesn't need it, though. No.
Specifically films like this. I give it a good solid 7 out of 10. I do like it for what it is. It was like a 6 before. The first time I saw it. Yeah. So, but I give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's the lowest out of the films we're doing here, but I do like it.
Yeah. Okay. Same for me. It is the lowest out of the 3, but I still love it. It's a 7.5 out of 10. That's
pretty good. That's a good score for that.
You know why you're getting into it. It's just sleaze. It's just kind of really graphic. It's got like an uneven tone with some of the comedic bits, but yeah, I highly recommend Strip Nude for a Killer.
Yeah, very good. Like I said, this is loaded as well as special features. Same thing. Audio essay by Kat Ellinger about basically the career of Edwidge Fenech from her sex comedies to her Jalli and stuff like that to producer. I mean, come on now, like certain, High Crimes, I think it's called, right, Darren, and stuff like that. I know she was involved in that. But it's
Private Crimes.
Private Crimes. Thank you. Yeah. And but yeah, it's very, very good. Nino Castelnuovo, he was also in a film called The English Patient. If you haven't seen that film,
I've seen that.
Yeah. You haven't seen that film. It's very good. And like I say, it's you have the blonde salamander video interview with actress Erna Scherer, I believe. Heart of Helping, a video interview with assistant director Daniela Sangiorgi. Jack of all trades, blah blah blah. So you have a lot of course, it's Arrow. So yeah, you're getting good stuff, which you're getting with these releases. So yeah, definitely a good one. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It is both of these are streaming on Tubi, so you can find both of these on Tubi. So I'd highly recommend that you just do that. Okay, the last one that we're going to talk about here in this All the Colors of. This is a very good one. One that slipped through the cracks, really, of the 80s for what you consider like a slasher or a Jalli. It's heavy Jalli adjacent, in my opinion, a hybrid. That is, of course, Night School from 1981. So this stars Leonard Mann as Detective Jude Austin, a great actor. He's really good in this. Rachel Ward, this is her debut actress role from here. Of course, the Thornbirds. Of course, she would do a slasher later called The Final Tear, a little bit later, even though this was made around the same time, which is crazy. I know this film was made in like 5 weeks, so a month. This was filmed in Boston. We have Drew Snyder as Vincent Millette, a very interesting, sleazy teacher, in my opinion. Joseph R. Ascari as Detective Taj, and then Annette Miller as Helen Griffin. The score is by Brad Fidel. Very good score for this film as well. Italian name, Killer in the Night. Why not? Of course, we talked about this before we started the stream. Alfred Soule was picked to direct this, but he was doing something else at the time. If you don't know who Alfred Soule is, yeah, Alice, Sweet Alice. So release date, September 11th, 1981, filmed in Boston, Massachusetts, and some stuff was shot in New York. The budget, real quick for this film, $1.2 million. It did not make that back, which is a travesty.
Yeah.
And but yeah, this has a cult kind of following for slasher fans like me and Darren. This is a good one. So yeah, go ahead, Darren. Any more info on this? Very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slasher film for the time.
This one at one point was so hard to get hold of. I'm lucky enough I got the old VHS edition. So this was AKA Terrorize. This was adapted from a script by female writer Ruth Avagon. She went on to co-produce the film as well.
Based off books on like actual headhunting in certain corners of the world. Yeah. Like I say, quick synopsis for this. Like say A is for apple, B is for bed, C is for co-ed, D is for dead, and F is for failing to keep your head. So yeah.
Love that. With going back to your point with Alfred Soule, right? So some people say he walked out on the film. Other people say he was sacked. He picked an actress called Vanity, aka Dee Dee Winters.
Yeah,
she was going to play the lead role. But what happened was she just appeared in Terror Train in I think 1980. The two of them worked together. Her and Soule worked together on Tanya's Island. But when Soule left the project, she kind of distanced herself from Rachel Ward. And there's a weird way Rachel Ward got this role as well. So the writer Ruth Avagon, she was just, they're wondering who they're going to bring in to get this lead role, and she sees this magazine on the side, this fashion magazine, and she says, "I want someone like her." And it was her on the front cover, Rachel Ward.
She's a beautiful actress. Like I say, the Thornbirds, yeah, she's great. Against All Odds with Jeff Bridges, beautiful actress. Me and Darren were talking about a film, Fortress, that's coming out.
I love Fortress, the Australian.
Yeah, Australian one. So she's been in some good ones and stuff like that. Great actress, very pretty.
Final Terror, which we covered.
Final Terror, yeah.
Director Ken Hughes. It's kind of a weird choice for this.
Academy Award-winning director, Casino Royale.
Best known
few
for
other ones.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as a young kid.
Yeah.
And just a side note to that, I remember I've seen that fucking car in real life.
Oh, nice.
It come to our city at one point. I know it's kind of a side thing. Right, so many of the cast of this were like Boston theater actors. Karen McDonald, she plays Carol, the woman who's like in the calf. She's kind of, helped save the calf.
One thing too, real quickly, I say, one of the few films to be done in Boston, mostly all in Boston, The Boston Strangler, that was done a few years earlier than this one. That's a good one to check out if you can find it. There's some heavy hitter actors in that one. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, her death scene, that Carol, she said it took 20 hours to do. And it's like a 3-minute scene. It is one of the best scenes.
It's one of the best opening scenes you'll see to a slasher film, in my opinion. I do agree with you. You and I have talked about that.
I will mention it at the time as well. That scene could well have influenced Tenebrae, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Rachel Ward has never spoke about the film. She's always kind of like disowned the film, to be honest. But yeah, I mean,
she's very good in this one for her first time. Like I say, she's very pretty.
I think she's awful.
Almost like she was in soap operas before this. If you count the Thornbirds, that is a drama type of thing. So she was perfect for kind of films like that. She had to look for it, man. She's good. Sexy as all get out. So.
She's purely there on her looks because her acting is awful. And she went on to be, and I will admit, she's a great actress, but she was awful in this. Just a couple of little side notes. Released in September 81 to US screens. Probably didn't do well because lack of gore, which we'll come into.
It won an award at a festival. I know that.
Yeah. It played on a double bill with Paramount slasher parody Student Bodies. But Paramount did pick this film up as well at one point. I think they delayed the release of it because they were bringing out Friday the 13th at the time.
Double bill with Student Bodies would be terrific. What a run.
And it played double bill. It played double bill with Terror Train in the UK.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're bangers, man.
Still waiting on Student Bodies. I'm still waiting on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. That's fine.
But it was released to Spanish screens as an unofficial sequel to Psycho. It was called Psycho 2. Believe it or not.
Nice.
Similar, like we said, to What Have You Done to Your Daughters. What Have You Done to Your Daughters, which I didn't explain at the time, was released in New York screens in 77.
Yeah.
Under like co-ed murders. But Leonard Mann starred in the Giallo Death Steps in the Dark. So I highly recommend that one. I have seen it. And last but not least, Night School was released to Italian screens in July 81 under the title of Il Killer della Notte, The Killer of the Night.
Killer of the Night, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How about that for a name? That kind of works really.
I mean,
really
that
good.
needs to be made like the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, have you got anything else before we go through the film? Because
other than, like I say, Rachel Ward mentioned before, like there's a nude scene in here of her taking a shower. She regrets not doing that enough. She said it'd probably help get her more out there as a more prominent actress. She would tell that to, as she called them, young starlets in here, in the industry. If you have to do it, just do it. You'll kind of know when to, if it's okay to, because she could tell whatever directors were from what and stuff. I think she does a good job in this film. It takes a turn. Definitely. I love her towards the end of this, man. She's convincing as all get out to me. It's very crazy. And we'll talk about the relationship that she has with this very interesting teacher. He's a great actor too. But yeah, go ahead, lead us off with
he
that.
Is. I disagree with you, man. I think she's awful in this film. I don't think it hurts the film.
No.
But yeah, that guy, is it Drew Snyder or whatever?
Yeah, Drew Snyder, yeah.
That scene in the shower, his wife actually almost divorced him over it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, because they're like berries it's like red berries that they're using and stuff like that,
Yeah, it's like body paint or something. I don't know. It's really weird. But so I like the theme to this. I like the piano kind of theme tune that we hear over the kind of opening credits, and you see the Boston kind of skyline, and then it shows all these parts of the city. So this is what I love about this film. It kicks off with a fucking bang. One of the best kill scenes I've ever seen in a slasher film. So you've got the Jack and Jill daycare center. You've got assistant teacher Anne Barron. She's finished school. She's waiting for this little girl. Her mother's, due to come along.
Yeah,
soon.
she's just on this.
And they're on this merry-go-round. That's what we call them in the UK.
Yeah.
In this kind of playground outside. And this killer, fucking all dressed in black, wearing a motorcycle helmet, turns up and just keeps spinning.
Yeah, spinning until finally
around.
Just whack. Yeah, tries to hit her with
machete.
this.
It is a machete,
which is,
I think.
Yeah, it's called like a Kirkin, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's like used for, like, you can say, in Amazonian type places. And we'll get to what this teacher teaches at this all girls school and all this other stuff too. Hence the name Night School, because they talk to the dean of the school. She basically says, a lot of them have like jobs and stuff like that. So they do this stuff at night.
Oh yeah. So this is where we see early on, right? We got Lieutenant Judd Austin, played by Leonard Mann. He's on his day off. He's chilling with his girlfriend, Stevie, and, they're kind of trying to work out what they're going to do for the day. And he gets the phone call then, He goes to the scene.
You find out this is the second murder, that somebody else was murdered in like a pond or something like that too. They don't talk about that one a lot in this film, but they do mention it's like this can't be like by coincidence, because with this beheading, all the beheadings in this film are put in water afterwards. There's some body of water, so
yeah, which we don't know why at this point. So he goes to the murder scene. He sees this decapitated head, like you say, in a bowl, like a bucket of water. The killer's left no clues, nothing, you know. All we know is the victim, Anne Barron, she was studying to be a teacher. She was an assistant teacher at Wendell College doing night classes. The first case last week, the original murder that you just mentioned, they found the body in the bushes, and it took them 2 days to find the head in like this duck pond.
Yeah, the Taj character is the comic relief, you can say, about that. He's like, because they make a comment, it's like, you haven't reached detective yet, and he goes, because I love my job.
There's some comedy between him and
specifically at the ending, which I think is quite interesting. But
I don't like it when they go the comedic route. I will say, just before we go on, I think the title Night School is what hurt this film for me, and the lack of gore. I don't
because there's two films called Night School. Of course, one that was made like really much later and stuff like that. It almost seems like it would be a comedy or religion originally. Like I say, I like the name, the Italian name that they gave it works like a lot better.
So we find out Anne was like studying anthropology with Professor Millett. Lieutenant Austin talks to Anne's friend Kim, and she says she's before she died, she was involved with an older man. She said, I don't know who he was, but he's you see the
teacher
man.
Like there's a situation to like hug her, and that's when you get introduced to Ward's character. She comes in there, he's like, here's the paperwork and stuff like that, because she's like his assistant, like secretary, you know, takes care of his documents. And that's the first time you kind of meet her. Like, if you have any other questions, I can come back or whatever like that. That's fine. So, you know, but you kind of see that tension already. And I've seen this film before. Of course, I love this film. But, you know, you kind of, if you don't know what's going on, it's very good, where it's like a who's who. So it's done very well in that aspect.
And you can tell early on as well that the detective, he knows something's going on with this Millett, Professor Millett.
Oh, dude, this dude's a creep. He's definitely a narcissist. Yeah. He's a heavy narcissist.
Sleeping with all the students. He's got like a really bad reputation. And the lieutenant picks up on this early on.
Oh, yeah, you can smell it. Yeah, you can smell it. It's like,
Eleonora then, she goes to like this local diner. You got the whole red herring Gary, this really weird guy working in the diner.
Special needs type of dude. He's a peeping Tom, which you find out later and stuff like that too. Yeah.
He's got kind of mental issues as well. And he kind of unsettles her early on. The waitress Carol, who I mentioned, and she kind of like, she talks about Professor Millett. And
the other red herring too was the two construction workers. You know, that the normal guys there, they kind of flirt with the waitress too and stuff like that too. Says, oh, you know what I like and stuff like that. So there's a lot of red herrings here. So you know what the film is kind of going for a bit?
Oh, yeah. This creepy Gary ends up following Eleanor home.
German Shepherd scares her.
Yeah. She starts to run when she realizes she's being followed. She gets in, locks the door. And I think we got another great scene as well.
That's a great, it's a great lead up scene to that. She has the cool old school better showers, as I call it, because they go from the top, right? So they go down like a waterfall. Yeah. Those are badass. Like, and it's like, looks like someone's going in the door and stuff like that. The latches, you see a hand go through to kind of like unlatch it and all this other stuff too. Well, first the doorbell rings and she doesn't hear it, then just goes back in there and just does her scene for them. Most part, that's where you find out, it's the teacher that's in there and stuff like that.
It's definitely a nod to Psycho.
It's a huge nod to Psycho.
We find
it
out
scares her and stuff like that. He's like going, the door was locked, and you said he went through the back way, I think, or he says, it was locked or something like that.
But he was locked out or something, and But they do this really weird scene where they body paint in the shower.
Yeah, ritualistic stuff in the shower and all this other stuff too.
Yeah,
it's,
and
that's before you kind of know, because he does like an essay thing on these this tribe that they go, that he went and gone and seen about, and he mentions the thing which is true, where he goes, men can go back to where they came from and go back to their primitive selves and stuff like that. He makes good comments. It's like of how man is and stuff like that compared to animals, like of how we work and stuff like that too. It's like a lot different because more philosophy type of a thing. And the detective is like Harvard graduate or something like that too. He's no dummy either. So so it's pretty good.
Yeah. So he's the professor, and he's teaching them all anthropology. You got another standout scene that's coming up really creepy as well. So you've got Kim Morrison, who's the original victim's friend from earlier. She works at this local aquarium.
Yeah, she's in there feeding the fish and stuff. That's pretty cool. and stuff like that. You see like this couple all watching her doing that.
She gets stalked by this fucking
that's
killer,
where you see the motorcycle clad, like leather clad person. Just for she doesn't see him, but you see the killer like for a brief second, then it just disappears. She gets out and stuff like that too, and it ends up to a pretty bloody scene there with that.
Oh yeah, the killer just jumps out on her from nowhere.
Throws the net on her.
Ends up trying to put like a net on her from in the aquarium. They start fighting. You got a little bit of like cat and mouse. But yeah, she's decapitated. But you see, you obviously see the great kind of payoff shot where her head is like
it goes in there and the turtle starts eating it. Or the tortoise starts eating it and stuff like that. So maybe it was like attached to something like that. They do enough not to show the actual head, which I do like about kind of films like that too.
Right.
And it's
yeah.
Well, here's another one and stuff like that. And they're saying it's the same issues. We have no evidence whatsoever. We don't know who it is and stuff like that.
The heads always end up in water, don't they?
He gets a sandwich and stuff like that. Want another half a sandwich? Sure. What is it? Tuna fish. I was like, no. You fucking suck.
But so you got Lieutenant Judd then goes to see Professor Millett again, and he's surprised to see young Eleanor there too.
She's like, she does the books for him, and I'm like, yeah, sure you do.
Sure, yeah, he knows. He knows there's something up, But both dead girls were obviously in this Professor Millett's class, so it kind of looks suspicious. He asks him straight out, "Are you having affairs with all these girls?"
He's like, I never have personal relationships with my students, and she's listening in, and all this other stuff too. It goes to with like a pretty good conversation when he leaves, and
they kind of end up arguing then, don't they? Like, so she ends up arguing with him.
She's like going, "Is it true?" and stuff like that. Is it true? She like yells at him. He's like, "No," or it goes to a point where she goes back to the restaurant. You see him come up on his bike that he has. So he has like a red motorcycle type of a thing. Like he has two. And
so he's like the chief kind of suspect at the moment.
As soon as you see that, you're like, oh, okay. Goes into the restaurant. And of course, the waitress, everyone knows him and stuff like that. He apologizes. That's when she kind of smiles a little bit and says she's pregnant.
And he still tries to flirt with the waitress after she tells him.
Well, he just says like whatever like that. That's kind of how he is. But she's like, why do you have to flirt with her? That's what I like about it. She shows that vulnerability and stuff like that too. That's when he leaves and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, he's like going, because she says I'm not having an abortion. Is like, I didn't ask the question. I didn't ask that. Right? He's like going, I didn't, you can kind of see like that. I didn't ask that. I didn't want you to do that.
Like he's talking down to.
Because she says like a month. I think she says like a month or maybe 2 months, 3 months, something like that.
I think it's about 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
And that's where he just starts flirting with them. She says, "Oh, we'll get married."
We'll get married and stuff like that. It's like, we'll talk about it kind of later. That's when he kind of leaves, and she says the waitress goes over to her, says it's not worth it. He's bullshitting. So, which is the truth. He is. So,
yeah.
His character is a scumbag. He's a very good actor. He's a piece of shit. He really is a piece of shit. Like,
at this like school or what have you, everyone seems to be a piece of shit. So we get into we meet Mrs. Griffin, the headmistress.
Yeah.
And
Good
she's
actress too.
fucking
I've seen her in other
sleazy as
things.
well.
Yeah.
She talks to this student Kathy.
Right, because he has to talk to her and stuff like that. She goes, "I can't. I'm busy, Mr. So and so."
This Kathy's been like sleeping with Millett as well, Professor Millett too.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So she's
because
like,
he makes a comment and stuff like that. I know what you're really up to here. Says, I know.
Yeah,
it's kind of fine. You realize that pretty quickly. She's like, because she kind of like caresses her like a little bit and stuff like that. She's like, I don't know what I did wrong and stuff like that. So she's about as predatory as he is.
Oh yeah, she's just as bad, I think.
Yeah.
You've got Carol then. She's left to lock up this diner. You get a great shot, and that's why I mentioned Tenebrae. So you get the shot of this camera, and it fucking goes right up to this window.
To the bar window, yeah.
You think it's going to go through at one point. I'm sure maybe Dario Argento had seen this film. I really do, because it's got such an influence with the Giallo films as well. I'm sure that
Tenebrae made before this or made around the same time, right?
Tenebrae was made after.
82?
So
82.
yeah, and this played theatrically in Italy. So and Dario was almost like a film. He studied film as well.
Of course, yeah.
So
no, he is huge into that.
There's no way that Dario didn't see this film. That's my opinion. And he may have. I'm not saying he did, but he may have took something from this shot.
Yeah.
So she's in there. The power goes out. Fuck me, right? She's being like kind of stalked by this killer. Jumps out on her, starts slashing her, and they end up fighting.
She goes out near the dumpster or whatever like that. Yeah. It's an interesting scene where she
goes into the alley.
She slashes her, right? And you see her head go back, but you don't see the head go off. Then you see the head being taken up the stairs. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Going back into the bar.
Kind of slow motion kind of attack scene at the,
Yeah.
Gus, he comes to the diner the next morning, I presume.
Things that got ransacked by like thieves or whatever like that. And
yeah.
That's when the two guys, basically patrons of that place, construction workers, obviously, just go in there. Yeah, we'll help him out. He's like, you have coffee? He's like, yeah, give me a second. You have stew, right? Yeah, I'll take the stew and stuff like that too. And it's an interesting scene there with the pot. It's like, hey, what's going on, Russ? Yeah, it's good to see you.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, hope you're having a good evening, my friend. And it's kind of like a slow burn. It's like, yeah, the stew is already made from the refrigerator. Takes the stew out, puts it on the thing, starts cooking that up, gives it to him and stuff like that. And that's when one of them realizes there's hair in it. He's like, there's hair in your stuff. You got to start wearing a hairnet and stuff like that too. So that's when he empties it into the other pot, right? He's like, okay, there's nothing here. Realizes that the sink is clogged, or so you think. And so he unclogs it and stuff like that. And you see the water start to slowly go down. You don't see it all, but then you start to see the face of the waitress in there. That's a great shot for what you see. You only see like a little bit of it. He's like, oh, shit.
It is. And I think they find like the body as well a bit later on.
In the dumpster. Yeah, they find it in the dumpster that same day. That's when Detective Taj, they mentioned, it's like, where's so-and-so today? It's like, oh, he had the day off. Like he called off sick or something like that too. And he makes a comment, says, you're supposed to have this information like automatically. He basically tells him to piss off, and stuff like that too.
Gary. Yeah. They go to see him, don't they? And what I like about this guy.
You see the hockey mask in there?
Yeah, before.
Yeah. That's 81. The hockey mask is like famously from part 5.
Hockey mask as well, didn't they?
That's before part 3. And I'm like, but of course that's the iconic like mask that they used kind of as the poster for part 5, A New Beginning, which I find very interesting. But they happen to have the hockey mask in there, all these naked pictures of these chicks and stuff like that too. The binoculars, that's when they find out he's a peeping Tom. He's like, you know what, this isn't worth it, because they find out what he was doing, that indecent exposure in New York.
Yeah, he's been involved in it.
Yeah, he's a creepy motherfucker, but he hasn't done anything kind of like this.
This drawer full of like women's underwears that he's been pinching off people's washing lines and that. Yeah. But Taj is like, well, I think we got our man, but Lieutenant Judd's like, no, he's just a peeping Tom. There's nothing more to it,
there's nothing here.
Lieutenant Judd then breaks into Professor Millett's place, and he finds this fucking
Yeah, there's
weird
pictures
collection
of them of the
stuff.
couple like on a motorcycle and couples because she went on the trip with him to this place holding these skulls and all this other stuff too. And the ceremony that he mentions at the start of the film, like I say, it's like the men are face down and the women are right next to them with their legs spread, right? Like they're like standing, but all their legs are almost like a triangle, right? Where it just goes through like that. It's fascinating stuff.
So they find all these skulls collection taken from this tribal headhunters kind of worldwide thing that they do. Eleanor tells him like there's nothing wrong with having all these things, like trying to normalize things or what have you. But Eleanor, she walks in on Helene, headmistress, didn't she? Telling Professor Miller, look, you've got to stop seeing these students. You've got to stop sleeping with all these students.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Judd then follows Professor Miller, but he ends up losing him, doesn't he? He's on his bike.
Yeah.
He ends up losing him in the car. That's when we get the whole thing with Gary being suspicious, and I think that
because Taj is like keeping his eye on him.
Yeah, I think he's tailing him, and
he's tailing him. But he sees him coming out. Yeah, because the detective is out. Yeah, Jude is outside the dude's house. The teacher's house. He comes up there, takes his motorcycle, and then goes somewhere. And then, like, say, he finds him and stuff like that. That's when Gary ends up going to the headmistress's house in a very trippy, great double kill scene here, which is everyone basically converges on each other. It's fascinating.
So Helene, at this place, right, at her house, she seduces student Kathy. Brilliant scene where
we're getting some sexy time here. I was like, wow, the phone rings.
Stalked, didn't she? She's pretty much stalked and attacked when she answers the phone.
Oh, great scene. The door slowly closes, man.
This knife going through the door, we see it.
You see her get pulled back.
Yeah.
Like from a rope and then slammed in and stuff like that. That's when you see the blood kind of like at the bottom. Then the killer opens the door. Then turns on the water. So this goes back to strip nude for your killer. Turns on the water. She's there. She goes over to the toilet, and I'm like, damn, that's fast. That's pretty fast. You see like hair coming out of the toilet and stuff like that, and you get that nasty sound that the toilet gets if it's clogged. It gets you all freaked out, man. Opens that up, and then that doesn't take but a minute too. The killer throws her on the bed and stuff like that, and the killer gets the jump on the detective too when he's in there on the steps. The killer just flies themselves at him on the steps. He drops a bit, and the killer just ends up like getting out there. It's like crazy.
I think this film was the first one to do that, the head in the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Didn't they do it in House on Sorority Row? But that was like a couple of years later.
They did that on House on Sorority Row. They also did in Curtains.
Curtains was the other one.
Yeah, they did that in Curtains as well.
Maybe Curtains did it first then, because I know.
I have to look at the year of Curtains. Yeah, John Vernon.
No, Curtains was delayed. So I'm thinking Curtains was actually shot in like 1979, 1980.
Really? It doesn't seem like it. You have to find that out. Yeah.
But anyway, they're both very similar time they did this thing. Like you say, Lieutenant Judd, he shows up.
Because the peeping Tom is there at the window, so he busts in, puts him in his car, and it's like, dude, it's not whatever like that. We have to find out who this person is and stuff like that too. It comes to some interesting revelations.
He sees like Helene's dead body, doesn't he? The killer jumps on him and flees on this motorbike into the night. And then we get the reveal, like pretty much.
You see the killer going home, going to this it's a washer room, right? Because you don't recognize the house. Like the way, that's why it makes the shots very good going back there. And it just goes in and stuff like that, closes the door, takes off the helmet, find out it's her. And you're like, first time seeing that, I'm like, oh shit. And the teacher comes down and it's like going, what's going on? And she automatically says, I killed him because I killed him for you, basically. It's like.
Yeah, because she was worried that all these young girls have been.
That's what I like about this, Wise, because she's obviously has a screw loose, but that's what I like. It's like, really, it's him. He's the sleazebag here, but she loves him so much, right? And just the emotion in her eyes and stuff like that, because she says, Yeah, that was the whole thing with the heads. Chopped off the heads. It's like when I was setting them free and I was cleansing them of their dirtiness that basically they had with you, right? So you put them in the water that cleanse their souls, which makes them mine. And I'm like, holy shit. And she's, that's when you hear the police start to show up and stuff like that. She's like, they're here to kill me and the baby, and all this other stuff too, where there's a scene where she's about ready maybe to go out there and he's like, no, and stuff like that too. Cause she has the blade and stuff like that. It looks like they have this fight. And go ahead, Darren. You can lead us off with that towards the end.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Lieutenant Judd and Taj. Then they go to Professor Millett, and they see who they think the killer is. Pretty much the killer. As far as they're concerned, they see this killer on a motorbike. They start chasing in a similar kind of
the leather, all that stuff is on. Yeah,
yeah. It's
a good chase scene too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The suspect ends up coming off the bike. They find out it's Professor Millett. This is what I like about this film. It goes to a place where they weren't, they don't give it like a logical conclusion. This is one of the early slashes where the killer actually gets away with it.
Yeah, it's almost a depressing ending, because it's like the funeral, and she leaves. She puts the dirt on the thing, but then she leaves. The detective is there. And she goes, is the ceremony over? She's like, yes. And he's like, I hope so. And that's where he gets in his car and leaves. And then she walks, she walks away, and then it just goes towards the ending. He's just finishing up the paperwork, and Officer Taj just happens to be in back of his patrol car, or, his car with the biker thing on and stuff like that. Kind of leads to like a, more happier type of an ending type of thing that's basically over. And there you go. That's this banger right here. Night School. Go ahead, Darren, your thoughts on this film and your kind of rating.
Oh, I love it, man. I've always loved this one. It's almost like a lost film, really.
It is.
A lot of people didn't know much about this one till fairly recently, till the Warner Archive release. But no, I mean, I think this stands definitely top tier slasher for me. I don't think we need like gore every 2 minutes. I mean, this does kind of do it well in more like suspense. The opening kill on the merry-go-round, I think, is as good as anything you'll ever see in a fucking Friday the 13th.
I do like the aquarium one with her. And
I love
like you say, and of course the scene in the house.
Diner kill as well.
Yeah, the diner and the one in the house, that double kill is very good with the door being closed and all that happening. Yeah, it's
this has got everything you need in a 1980s slasher film.
Yeah.
And Giallo fans will love it because
this was the start of that boom in the 80s. Like I say, 81, we got this stuff, and what a great kind of first one for Rachel Ward to kind of get her feet wet in this genre.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's got 3 horror films that I highly recommend. This, The Final Terror, and Fortress. If I had to I would say this is like an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
That's very good. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's highly rewatchable for me. I really do like it. Yeah, this is definitely a good one. Like I said, it cost 1.2 million to make. It only made like worldwide 1.1. And I'm like,
pretty much a bomb.
I don't think the advertisement was better, because this would work huge during this time. I mean, come on, you have The Burning, you have films like The Burning, Mad Men, Maniac, you have films like this that would work.
It's the title. I know it was called Terrorize as well on some theatrical releases, but I don't know. It just wasn't promoted as well as it should have been.
As well as it should have been. It happens. That's from Paramount, no less, too, because we knew what Paramount had. So it's like,
they come into it. They got they were gonna reissue it, weren't they, at some point? I think when she became famous, Rachel Ward, that's when they reissued it in 1983, I believe, to American audience. But no, it holds up against any kind of those early slashes you mentioned, like the Burning, Madman. So I don't know. I do think this is in dire need of a good release, though. This is bare bones. This has only got a trailer on.
Yeah, this is one in archive too, so we'll see what's going on. Of course, we know what the deal with Paramount has going on with them.
Yeah.
So I'll see what happens there. Maybe if they can license this out to, let's say, I can see Scream Factory doing a good one for this through Shout and stuff like that too. I actually
think Arrow would be the best for me, because you could do an Arrow UK and US release of it.
Yeah, that definitely.
I don't know what the issue is. There's obviously must be some kind of issue with rights. That's all I can think of. Paramount. Yeah. I don't know if Paramount still own it. I think
if it's under Warner Archive, it makes it interesting. If they just picked up the distribution rights to it, that can happen. Cheerleader Camp is a bad film. I haven't seen it. I know Garrett really likes that for to be right.
DVD up there, Cheerleader Camp.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's really cheesy and yeah, it is bad.
Yeah, this was a good one. These are 3 bangers. I highly suggest you check them out. So we talked about, of course, Night School. We talked about Strip Nude for Your Killer. And then we talked about, of course, first we talked about what have they done to your daughters. So yeah, all good ones here. All have motorcycle-clad killers and that sexy leather. Darren, what do you have going on with Dirk on Subjective Perspective Collective?
Sure, yeah. So we've got this coming Sunday. We're going to be doing the Hills Have Eyes original and the Hills Have Eyes remake. We're going to be comparing the two. I know Dirk likes the original a lot. I love the original, but I do favor the remake, so that's going to be an
remake's a good one. Yeah.
Not this Saturday, but the week after. We're doing a Region 3. We got some good topics for that. We got I think we're doing Fred Decker's Night of the Creeps and Monster Squad. I think we're doing like a true story horror, horror films that feature a true story. So that should be interesting as well.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, just keep your Subjective Perspective Collective. Keep your eyes open. We've always got stuff coming. We're gonna do a new feature next week as well. So we're gonna be covering all Italian horror-based news, whether it be new releases, all that good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. For this channel, Slasher Saturday is going to be He Knows You're Alone. Next, the Giallo Show and Tell is going to be Death Carries a Cane. So pay attention to those two. And then the next time you will hear us is the Black Glove Reviews podcast. In the next few weeks, we'll be talking about Hatchet for the Honeymoon and He Knows You're Alone. So some interesting ones. Maybe we'll add one to that. And who knows? Maybe we'll add something particular. We'll see. But anyway, great stuff ahead here on this channel. And, of course, great stuff on Darren and Dirk's channel. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you follow Dan and those guys at Fleshwood Features. Lauren, as well as all these dudes as well, and ladies in, of course, Region Free and all that other great stuff there that you all do over there. Visited by Voices. Great channel. And, I'd like to hand it to Darren, too. He introduced me to 2 channels I never heard about, but have quite an amount of followers. Talk about those 2 channels real quick, if you could, Darren.
Sure. Yeah. So you've got Maintain Top 9. This guy, he was going back quite a few years ago. He's a big slasher fan. And really strangely enough, a couple of years ago, he turned to religion and he kind of turned his back on the channel a little bit. I know Keith did like a Maintain Tell Motel Massacre watch along with him back in the day. He's got a great channel. I would definitely recommend going over to his. Hopefully we can maybe get him on here, maybe at one point.
Yeah.
And then you've got 42nd Street Pete, which I was surprised that you've never heard of before. The guy is unbelievable.
Very into Grindhouse type stuff. He just recently did the release that Flippin' Grindhouse Films is releasing Cannibal Holocaust in 4K. Expect a big box edition of that too. In his latest video, he talked about Predator 2, and I really like Predator 2 a lot. I like that film. You can almost consider that a slasher if you really look at it.
I wouldn't mind getting him on here as well.
Yeah.
I think he would fit this channel more than me and Dirk's. But yeah, so yeah, definitely check out those guys. There's some great kind of talent out there on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I say, thank you all for dropping by. Really appreciate the support, you all. Expect me to do what I watched in April. That will be my anniversary stream. Like I said, been 3 years trying to do this like content-wise stuff. So far, so good. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us for this episode 3 of Giallo Show and Tell. If you want us to do for future episodes like this, just put your comments in the comments section of what you'd like us to cover for this for this series that we like doing and stuff like that. Same thing. I'll put polls up on my channel too. And I always appreciate the votes and all that other stuff as well. So anyway, everybody, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. You all enjoy the upcoming weekend too. I'm, of course, Black Love Reviews. That, of course, is Darren over there from Subjective Perspective Collective. You all have a great evening, and we'll see you all in the next one. And just be careful of those killers on motorcycles. I'm going to tell you that, both ladies and gentlemen in general. And don't fall for your teacher, aka don't stand so close to me. See you all next time.
Have a good one, guys.